The Story of Kamal, a crime story by Vahid Sajjadifar.
In the outskirts of one of the country's largest cities, a shadow prowled, instilling fear in the hearts of the people. His name was Kamal, a man of extraordinary intelligence, but with a dark and twisted mind. His childhood was a living nightmare. His father, a perpetual drunk, would come home every night in a state of inebriation, inflicting endless violence on Kamal and his mother. His mother, a weak and helpless woman, could do nothing to defend her son and could only wipe her tears with an old rag. Kamal never forgot the painful memories of his past. Years passed, and these wounds festered in his mind. A deep-seated hatred toward men who drank alcohol grew within him. They reminded him of his cruel father, and this hatred intensified with each passing day. Kamal grew up in a poor neighborhood, where violence and poverty were part of everyday life. Every night when his father came home drunk, his nightmares would begin. His father not only abused him but also his mother. These acts of violence had a profound impact on Kamal's psyche. Instead of playing with his friends, he often hid in a corner, contemplating revenge. At school, Kamal was an exceptional student. His sharp intellect helped him succeed in his studies despite the turmoil at home. But no one knew the suffering he endured. His teachers and classmates saw him as a quiet and shy student, but inside he harbored a storm of anger and hatred. The years passed and Kamal became a young man. He studied electrical engineering at university and excelled in his field due to his intelligence and skill. However, the scars of his past never faded. He remembered how he couldn't sleep at night out of fear of his father. These memories drove him toward revenge. With meticulous planning and his keen intellect, Kamal devised a flawless plan. He would go to the city's bars at night, waiting for his victims. Men who stumbled out of the bars, drunk and vulnerable, became his targets. With a calm and friendly demeanor, he would approach them, knock them unconscious without drawing attention, and take them to an abandoned cabin in the nearby woods. The abandoned cabin deep in the woods was where Kamal exacted his revenge. He would torture his victims with precision and ruthlessness. Each act of torture reflected the pain and suffering he had endured as a child. With every scream and cry from his victims, he felt a part of his old wounds healing. Kamal used various tools for his tortures. He chained his victims to metal chairs and used knives, whips, and electric shocks to torment them. He paid great attention to details, observing every movement and reaction of his victims closely. For him, these tortures were not just acts of revenge against drunken men, but also a way to release his inner rage and pain. The city police, after discovering several bodies, were on the hunt for the serial killer. But Kamal was so intelligent and meticulous that he left no clues behind. He continued his hunt, becoming darker and more ruthless each night. Over time, the police noticed a pattern in the murders and tried to use it to catch the killer. One police officer, Major Naderi, was put in charge of the case. He was an experienced and professional man, carefully examining every clue. Naderi realized that all the victims were men who had left the city's bars at night. He decided to monitor the city's bars closely to trap the killer. One night, Kamal encountered a man in one of the bars who was different. This man appeared drunk but had a deeper, more dangerous look in his eyes than just alcohol. Kamal immediately sensed that this man was no ordinary prey. He meticulously planned his move, knocked the man unconscious and took him to the cabin. However, this time the man challenged Kamal's expectations. During the torture, using cunning and trickery, he managed to deceive Kamal and escape. This man was actually an undercover agent sent to capture Kamal. Now on the run, Kamal knew he had to end his hidden life. He fled deep into the forests, where no one could find him. But his complex and dark mind could never escape the torments of his past. He hid in the depths of the forest for some time, but the memories of his past never left him. Seeing no way back to a normal life, he decided to continue his revenge. This time, he operated with even more precision and skill, but the police did not relent in their pursuit. One night, Kamal went to a new bar and chose a man who appeared drunk and helpless. But once again he was deceived. The drunken man was actually one of the best-trained police officers assigned to capture Kamal. In a fierce struggle, Kamal managed to escape, but this time he knew the game was over. He returned to the cabin, exhausted and defeated. He realized that the police assigned undercover gents in every bar to arrest him. His mind was filled with past memories, pain and suffering. In his final moments, as the police surrounded the cabin, Kamal realized there was no escape. He drowned in his memories and pain, and eventually killed himself by cutting his wrist. His life ended in darkness and solitude. Kamal's story is that of a man whose childhood wounds turned him into a ruthless killer. Despite his efforts to escape his past, he ultimately could not free himself from the dark shadows of his mind. While the police ended his reign of terror, the psychological and emotional scars Kamal carried from childhood never healed.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.